Hello everyone, Silva here, welcome to the next part of my Fred introduction series, the last part to be precise, because in the last 11 videos we had a look at the basic editors to make a single free space mission, then we had a look in 3 videos on a practical tutorial for one mission, and now we will have a look on how to make a campaign out of your missions. That's why we now take a look at the campaign editor. When you start the campaign editor, it will look something like this. A new empty campaign file, just like the main Fred editor starts with a new empty mission file. On the left side we will start with the first list, which is the list of available missions for your campaign in the current mod you have selected to start Fred. Below that is the main metadata of the campaign, its name, its description and the type, where you can select a single player campaign and 2 types of multiplayer campaigns. There's also a checkbox to reset the tech database at the start of a campaign, so each time you restart this campaign, the tech database is reset to its default state for this campaign, which means all entries that are unlocked during the course of that campaign will disappear until you unlock them again. The fields below that will only be enabled once you enter missions into the campaign, so we will do that. On the right part there is already a line for a new mission, so select a mission from the list of available missions and control click into the gray tile, and then this mission will be put into the campaign. And once you select it in that tile, the fields on the left side will be enabled. Before we have a deeper look into how to arrange the campaign missions, let's just finish the panel on the left. So the mission options you can select here is first a briefing cutscene, so that's a video that is played before the start of that mission. A video for FreeSpace2 has to be either an MVE file, which is the old format, or an OGG file, which is the new format. You can select the name here and then this video will be played before the mission. The debriefing persona index is once again only important for voice acting, because if you have several debriefing personas during the course of your campaign, you can select here which one it is by the index in the list of personas, so the mission knows which sound file to select for dynamic additions to the debriefing, for example promotions or automatically assigned medals like the ACE medals. If you don't select the right persona index, then it may happen that those dynamic messages will be added to the debriefing but played with the wrong sound file, so you have 2 personas reading out your debriefing. If you don't have voice acting, it has no meaning for you. The only thing that will happen then is that one part of your debriefing will be silent while another part may have a sound file played. The main hall name will decide which main menu setting will be used for this mission. As you know, the main menu of FreeSpace is this animated view of a ship hangar deck, and there are several options available and you can select per mission which one shall be used. So here you have to give a valid name from a main hall from the main hall tables file. If you don't give any main hall, then the default FreeSpace2 main hall will be used. And below that there's the options to control which mission follows the mission you've just selected. That is the so-called mission branching. In a simple case, every mission has just one successor, but you can also create more complex campaigns that have different successors depending on certain conditions. For each and every potential successor to a mission, a branch SexP will be shown in this field. You can move them up and down, and you can also toggle the loop option for this branch. I will talk about that in a moment. There's also buttons to realign the tree on the right side of the editor, so the missions will be realigned to give you an easier overview of your mission tree. With the load mission button you can open the currently selected mission in the regular Fred editor, and the close button closes the campaign editor. Below that is the developer node for the currently selected mission, which may give you some information on what to pay attention to when integrating this mission into your campaign. And the last part are the loop controls. Loop is a term for an optional part of a campaign that the player can choose to play or to omit. In the main retail campaign of FreeSpace2 there was those 2 special operations loops, where the player could choose to join special operations for a set of missions or whether they want to continue with the main storyline of the campaign. In case you select a loop, then at the start of this loop a special screen will appear where the player can choose whether to follow that loop or to go on with the main storyline. This loop screen works kind of like a command briefing, so it has an animation file and of course a voice file, and this is played while the player can make their choice. Those fields will be enabled once you choose the loop option with a toggle loop button for one of the branches for your current mission. Please keep in mind that of course, if you want to have an optional loop, you also need a branch to the next mission if the player chooses not to follow the loop. So much for the panel on the left. Now let's focus on the tree on the right. Once you have entered your missions into that tree, a new tile for next mission is already automatically added on the bottom of the tree, and there you can add the next mission. Once you have more than one mission, you can select the first one and drag to the next one, so that will then add a branch from the first to the second mission. By default, this branch will only have a true conditions XP, which means that the first mission is followed by the second mission, no matter the circumstances, as long as the first mission was a success. If you want to change that, you can of course use several XPs to redefine that condition and to make a more complex campaign, but keep in mind that you have to be very careful with that, so you don't end up with a campaign that just ends because you have reached a condition where there's no follow-up mission for the current mission and it becomes the last in your campaign. So far I'm not sure if there are really any large-scale campaigns that have more than just a simple loop option and really have a tree of options for the mission sequence. I for myself have not played any campaign like that so far. With a right click into the tree you have the options to insert a new line or to delete a tile, kind of obvious. For the menus of this editor, the file menu is quite simple, saving and loading campaign files. In the other menu there's an error checker like for the mission, which will check if there's any obvious mistake for your current campaign settings. And then there's the initial status menu, which allows you to set an initial status of allowed ships and weapons for that campaign. This menu is kind of an override for the team loadout selection in your missions. So if you disallow ships or weapons here, they will not show up in the loadout even if in those missions they are selected. The campaign selection for weapons and ships overrides the single mission configuration. In order to allow ships and weapons over the course of the mission, you have to use the allow ship and allow weapons XPs in some kind of event. So here you have the option to control more dynamically which ships and weapons are allowed for your campaign without having to adapt each and every loadout selection for your missions. The downside of course is that if you forget to allow a ship or weapon, it will not appear in the mission even if it is selected there, which may end up making your mission unplayable if, for example, all ships or weapons that should be allowed are in fact not. If you're done configuring your mission, don't forget to save it. You can save it in the same directory as the mission files and FreeSpace will find it, and then you can select this campaign in the campaign selection screen of the game. Well, and that's it for my introduction series, because now we have all we need to create missions and campaigns using the basic functions of those editors. Of course, there are scenarios for advanced functions, and I will create a new set of videos explaining some of those concepts, so please stay tuned for those new videos. Thank you so far for watching, see you in one of the next videos if you like to, and until then, take care and goodbye!